Yes, this is Ra, original Bouyon master, creator. You know what I mean? Blessings continually. Slam TV, don't move it. Just keep it right there. Lock.
Right now we're kicking up a storm. Like a tune. Tune, tune. Like a tune. Tune, tune. Like a tune, like a tune, like a tune, like a tune, tune. Like a peeping Tom Monday on the scene. And your every move they go sighting. While taking a walk me and my belly. Catch my boy looking from her kitchen. She then turned and said to me, looking for Mr. Harry, who does pass the every night. He and his wife just had a big fight. I know it's none of my business, but these things attract my interest. Watching this act I just get resist. From the scenes I just catch my kicks. SOCA Cabece o cabeye, leve pisse o cagade, lewe marche o cabeye, ouais à l'évitation, ouais en digation, il dit o cabeye, ma de question, quand c'est une façon, cabeye déclaré.
Well, from Utah I playing, and I mean, from 2 years old I remember playing the music, you know, setting up them little chairs, you know what I mean, which we used to get by Nas. It was an old Syrian, you know what I mean, and I used to set up those chairs and set it up in tones, and you know, just playing that from 2 years old, you know. So from youth I've been musically inclined and always like drums and percussions, which is my first love, and not really vocaling. Vocaling came in after as complementary. I did my first debut of recording on albums back then in the end of the Kadas era, you know what I mean? So we're talking about in the end of the Kadas thing. That was in the 70s, late 70s, well, call it like 79. That was like out, you know, 79. So I had that opportunity of recording in Guadeloupe, you know what I mean? So I had the end of the Kadas kind of a vibes. Of course the Kadas is still alive, but you know, at the time when the Kadas was really pushing, just like how the Bouyon is pushing, how you have a set of little groups right now, you know what I mean? So that was it really, you know. Bouyon music is based really on the cultural rhythms of Dominica, the natural isle of the world, you know what I mean?
Welcome to Dominica, the Nature Isle, the most pristine, untouched island in the Caribbean. The national motto is Après Dieu c'est la terre, which means after God is the earth.
Is our root music which come from Africa, which is called the bele, which is you have the guy beating the drum, then you have a group of singers, you have the lead vocal, then you have the backup singers, just like the Africans do, because that's a tradition that was passed on, you know. And you know, I think it's a blessing that the creator have us to still have that style. That's bele, that's number one. Number two, the other style is the jingping, which is called quadrille too, you know. It's a style of dancing, but we base it more on the style of the music. If of a lot of accordion, of course the bamboo, which has a hollow thing, you know, a hollow inside. When you blow through it, you get a kind of a bass song. So actually it serves like the bass. We call it the boom boom. Of course, we have a thing they call the gouage, which is like a maracas kind of a feeling, like a shack, you know, other people may call it. And of course, that is it basically. So you have the accordion, you know, which is a European instrument, you know. You have the shack, and of course there's the tambal. This is like a big wrong tambourine, you know. So it's the same kind of an effect, but it's played slightly different, you know. So that's part of it. And of course the lapokabrit, which is a drum without a goat skin, you know, which is familiar to people of Guadeloupe and Martinique, which is neighboring to Dominica. One in the south, one in the north. We play that style, at carnival time especially. So that's a kind of a African kind of a tradition to beat those drums. And of course, we have elements like zouk, which come from the word mazooka, which we played in Dominica years ago. There's kadas, there's calypso, there's hip hop, there's reggae dancehall style, so anything that could work within the formula, that is what we really use in the Bouyon elements. Local bands, I think more or less the cultural rhythm bands. That is what really inspire me. But bands like guitars and bass and all that, my liking is bands like Osibesa, Olatunji, Santana, Malo. I used to listen to like Exile and all the rest of the groups there. But really and truly, I think at that time, yeah, it was okay. But I was still thinking at the back of my head, I have to create something different. Scalas was okay, but I just think to myself, I have to do something different. And the difference is right here, is taking the root music, which is the Lapokabwit, the Bele, and the Jingping, and putting it into a modern style. For instance, we used to be using the electronic drums. We used to see, instead of saying Lapokabwit, we used to say it's Lapo electronic, because the electronic drum is not a Lapokabwit you're playing anymore, it's an electronic skin. Well, it have different ways of recording about your song. First of all, it have to come from the heart. I could start off with my drum beat, or I could just stand up with a riff that hit me, or I could work out on an accordion part, or I could just think of a guitar riff. It's different things. Different things inspire me. Because I myself, I like to sing about like the rivers, because we have a lot of rivers in Dominica. So I'd say, left the land of sunshine, land of beauty. Just a leave I go on New York City, spending all me time and pure energy, just to make it right for the 90s. Really and truly, when I make that song, I was thinking, because we did it in the 90s, and I was thinking of like, when we go beyond, to be reflecting. So I make this song in time, knowing that I'll be reflecting. So it have different ways, Sometimes I go by the sea and I'll see, well, okay. And I drop this other line there. Watch the fisherman out in the ocean. Use a technique that is ancient. So that means that fisherman now actually using his net, and people don't really use that style again. They just go with a trawl and drag the fish, Have songs like, for instance, this is a culture, one in a million. There is no other one to compare. So we're talking about like, where we come from, because African people, I think we really have a deep culture. We believe in the drum. We still do things like Bele, and Bele is an African dance. And there's a lot of things African that we do that's still in our culture. So we want to preserve that and to pass it on. So it have different ways. So you make a song like Balance Batty. Okay, Balance Batty is like when people are having party. You know what I mean? So, the lyric of that one there too. You know what I mean?
Big party girl. This one is for all those with a manual butt. Excuse me. Oh my, what's that bunny? Let's check it. In between. Here we go. Hi. Concentration on that one now. won't leave alone. She doing the flip flop party, posing with the loud posse. Without she in the fete, party is not yet. Crowds at gather for one more, cause balance party just I enter. Here we go. Jam. Once again. Struck back. Balance party. Struck back. Balance party. Struck back. Balance party. Middle section. Back. Balance party. Struck back. Balance party. Struck back. Balance party. Oh my. What's that party, girl? Huh? Here, man. Advertising her property. What the sight is pure agony. Movement she a make the sleeping wake. Doing up the flip flop style of chow passy when high. Balance body with emotion. All eyes but in one direction. Them guys them a rush. She they want to touch. Staring at she backline saying this one me go conquer it. Hi. Come with it now. In the megalo. Here we go. Struck back. Balance party. Struck back. Balance party. Struck back. Balance party. I can't close my eyes. Struck back. Balance party. Struck back. Balance party. Struck back. Balance party.
Well, people familiarize themselves when they hear Bouyon music. Well, first of all, they say CK, but when you narrow out CK, you realize, well, you know, it's not a matter of blowing my horn, but I know for myself that, you know, what I've done to the whole revolution of the music in Dominica. Really and truly, I had that concept from Licky Youth, watching, you know, my people and them come from the country. The older folks would be telling me the stories, like almost like the griots of Africa, you know, where they tell you the stories, you know, some will tell you, well, I'm Kope Lapepe, Kope Tig, you know, then you have Lua, which is the king, and Tija, and, you know, all those type of stories, you know. And from then, there I start to document some of the terms we use. For instance, when I did a research, I realized, you know, people used to be saying in Dominica, suku, suku, suku. So I was wondering, okay, suku means okay, whatever, help me. But when I researched it, I realized that suku comes from an Arabic word meaning mercy. So that just tell me one thing, that, you know, for sure there were some Muslims that came down, because if you use in suku, that means that's an Arabic word. So among them, there were, you know, some Muslims involved. You know, that's on to my own analysis. You know, understand? So those type of words, then we document it in the Bouyon music. So the Bouyon music is not only just the rhythm and the musical part, but of course the wording, you know, the dialect, you know, as we put it that way, you know. So I keep on like developing that until of course we did a couple reggae groups like the Rooftop Connection. Apart from that, we had a group before that was doing Kalas, you know, that was in my youth time. Then we did Rooftop Connection, playing pure reggae. Then after that we had a Ease Up. Then, you know, after that then we formed WCK. From WCK, then I decided, no, you know, we can't be playing other people's music. Then we have certain things that we could develop, and I started working on the formula. At the time I didn't know I was gonna call it Bouyon music, but I started conceptualizing it and come up with a couple formulas, and I realized, well, fusion sounds like an overused word. It sounds like confusion. In as much that music gonna have different elements, you know, just like the food we eat called the bouillon in Dominica. Then I decide, no, why don't you call that rhythm bouillon? Because bouillon as a food, you know, it has different things in it. You know, you could put your peas, you could put banana, you could put sweet potato, whatever could work within the formula. You know, it's like a potpourri. Whereas with the music as bouillon, you come with different elements, just like I mentioned before, you know, the Jingping, the Lapokabwit, and all the other elements that I mentioned, and of course the modern music, which is things like dancehall, hip hop, whatever. So I keep on developing that, and started to work with the band, you know, and we start developing it, and you know, right now it evolved, you know. A lot of people claim, you know, rights to it and decide, okay, they don't want to come up with a formula and what, but you know, they will know the truth, you know what I mean? So that's how we do it.
Yes, sir. I say this. Hey, what do you do to make your money? To make your money? To make your money? What do you do to make your money? To make your money? To make your money? Is it dollars in the air? In the air? US dollars in the air? In the air? Pounds and euros in the air? In the air? Let me dance in the air. There we go. Wait. Gotta have a wait. Yes, sir. Here we go. Where all the sexy ladies now? Show me your money maker.
Well, what I see for the future is to create good music, good lyrics, and to pass on to the kids, so they can, you know, pass on to their kids, because there's a music that we have to keep and preserve, because we had Kalas music, and the Kalas music, we're gonna have to check it out now. I think it started out in the early 70s, and by the late 70s it started to phase out just a bit. I want to say it totally just went out, but it phased out. Whereas Bouyon music, if you realize now, is going the opposite way. Bouyon music now came in, we started working the formula already, and through this, I would say about 1991, and you realize now it's just evolving right now. It's even moving really, really fast. It's at a really, really fast pace. So you could see, really and truly, there's a lot of room for improvement, and of course the development of the thing. I don't know where it will head to, but really and truly the formula set, you know, is just to make it be an innovative rhythm, but not you losing the formula. Once you lose the root, you lose the fruit. So definitely you have to, you know, hold on to the formula, you know. So it's just like a house without a foundation, you know. You have to have the foundation, so you know the house can stand strong. So that's what we're talking about. So down the line, the sky's the limit, trust me. It's not going to be easy, because the youths and them going to come up there, they're going to come up with some, you know, developing, because for instance, we have people like Dada, that's a new producer, and he, you know, he's just like 22, and the amazing thing that he does, I mean, it's not funny. So you could realize now the youths and them, they're catching up to it, and they're catching up to it real quickly. That's why you could see the music industry in Dominica, especially the Bouyon music, is developing at a real tight pace. The evolution of Bouyon is that when we started off and everything was working fine, but again, as you know, when money start to show its face, and I mean, people just start to change their ways. Of course, when people start to change and the greed start to set in, then your music must change, because people more studying the money than playing the music, and the music had to come from the heart, it had to come from the soul. We had a period where everything was going kind of haywire, especially the period we're talking about from 87 to where it developed and started to get tight up to 99, you know, 99. That's when we had that phase out in WCK, and then the music started to take a turn, really and truly. I think I don't want to say the worst, I think is a strong word, but it started to take a turn that started to hurt the music, because, you know, Dominican had no representation. People start to exfade, to put it that way, because whereas places like Trinidad, St. Vincent, Grenada were checking the Dominican players with the Bouyon music, the Dominican players actually were looking at them.
Jailward officer, set my people free. All the dumb pressers, set my people free. All the drug pushers, set my people free. No, close it up, free your mind, free your body. Close it up, take your mind, take your body. Close it up, free your mind.
We have the opportunity right now with Rhythm and Hit, which is a different group, to, you know, put back the Bouyon where it's supposed to be, you know, put it back on the pinnacle, you know what I mean, and bring back the respect you know, to Dominica. I think we come together now to be a shining example because we have players of the older Bouyon, you know, and we have players of the fresher Bouyon. You know, when you say fresher, you know, is younger kids. So now they will come with different ideas. And of course that's what you want because as they say, it's from the mouth of babes and sucklings, you know, your knowledge come up for. Bouyon music is an African rhythm, you know, that's why a lot of people go check for it because, you know, it hits you in the heart and the soul, you know. Well, advice I would have for the kids right now, for the youths them, I'd like to tell them, you know, education is the key and not cow jump over the moon kind of education. We're talking about education meaning knowledge, wisdom and understanding, you know. So then in themselves now, because they have a responsibility right now to catch the right thing so they could pass to the kids to come. Because that's what is going to really have us up, you know, is when we have the right manners, the right ethics that we could pass on to our kids. The kids could pass it on to the kids and tell them, let them know for sure that they're not supposed to lose that vibe, you know. So let the kids, them as they coming up there, let them know they're not supposed to lose the vibe. And I think Bouyon music as it is the one that bridged the generation gap. So you have, you know, I want to call them old, but you have the old ageable people down to the belly, the baby down in the belly, you know what I mean? So they in yourself now have to keep that vibe, you know, we have to keep that vibe locked, you know, so we're not separating. Bouyon music is not about separating young from old. It's about keeping, you know, everybody together. Well, the Bouyon Muffin style came up, I remember I was doing a track like, as youth man, I knew that melody, you know. Downtown, when you can always go downtown. So now Skinny was on the scene there, but apart from Skinny, there was other people like Yoli B. There was other people like, of course, some youths I had from Kinfield, Vet, and them man. And I was gonna work out a style because I figure if for instance, the American music have like the hip hop and it have the rap and stuff like that. No, the rap is more or less like chatting over the music, and of course, there's reggae dancehall is almost like the chatting over the music. I see. Well, Bouyon can always have its style where you're chatting over the music because I've already had done performance poetry in Harambe back in those days when I was about like 7 years ago, 7 years old. That formula can work, you know. So there is where it start to evolve, you know. And of course, Skinny, you know, was an older guy, so he could have come in the dance. Where are the other guys that couldn't come to the dance because those guys were like 12 and 13 years, they couldn't make it. And Skinny was the one that was fortunate, you know what I mean. When I came up with the vibes, he was right there, so now he just fit into the loop, and he came up with the style of, or not really the style, but with the song called Bouyon Muffin, because we had already worked that formula. We know that formula was going to work anyway. And, you know, the dancehall was already popular. Rap was already popular. You know what I mean? Of course, performance poetry was already popular. So it's just putting the Dominican twang and the Dominican slang to it. And, you know, that's how the whole formula came by. You know, so that is one of those, of course, I conceptualize as well. So the Bouyon music right now, I could see like it's hitting out there. And we want to tell the people out there to look out. Bouyon music is alive and kicking, and of course it's spreading right through the world, you know what I mean? So Bouyon to the world.
Bouyon music from Dominica.